Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Long Voyage, episode 24, and this is part 2. So, you have had some time to socialize and interact with Ah Cheng and Li Ling and, these, basically, and the soldiers, for that matter, in the small traveling group that you are with here. And by the time we rejoin you, it is the night before you will reach your destination. And at this point, Li Ling looks like she could pass out if somebody even so much as looks in her direction, from sheer nerves, and you could even swear there's actual fear there.
I think this is something we need to address.
I think Ilwa will, calmly walk over beside her and put a hand on her shoulder. It'll be okay.
Are you sure? She writes.
Yes.
What if I don't want to do this?
Don't want to do this.
Yeah. What if I don't want to go through with this?
Does that depend on the man, or?
Not really. I'm sure he's nice. I mean, Ren said that he was just about the nicest man in you could imagine, and not someone who's going to be cruel, or it's going to be someone who thinks it's okay that I can't, that I'm mute, and who doesn't plan on treating me badly because of it. But what if I don't? What if this is not what I want? I mean, it's what my parents want, and it's what they expect, and it's what everybody expects. And I don't want to let anybody down. I don't want to disappoint.
Is this about the secret you couldn't tell?
Yeah.
You know Eileen, right? Strong,
Yeah.
independent, and then she makes a quotation mark, woman.
Yes.
I admired her, again, quotation mark.
Yes.
Because she didn't let herself tie her down. I did the same thing, and today I'm here. I know this will get me in a ton of trouble, but if you ask me to, I will take you with me.
She looks grateful, but at the same time sad, and she says, but the problem is, if I'm not there, and if I don't do this, my father will have made an enemy. And my father is not a powerful man. Well, only in Lanwan, but you saw how few soldiers he's got. He's not a powerful man. And if there is an enemy who feels cheated or badly treated because I ran away, my whole family could suffer or even be killed. I can't do that.
Politics. I despise them.
I'm sure he's really nice. Everybody says so.
But
what if there's somebody else I'd rather have?
Who theoretically would be?
And she just looks down and sighs. Doesn't matter. Can't happen anyway. You've all been really good friends, and I'm really, really grateful that you got me here safely.
Then it's really a question about duty versus what you want.
She nods, sets her jaw, says, then it has to be duty.
If that is your choice.
There are some things that are bigger than one person.
Ilva nods. Sadly, yes.
She goes back to, and sits down on the board or outside, the back of her wagon, and she sits there for a while and looks sad more than anything else. And she looks at her tablet for a moment, and she says, and then she writes down a few more things. And she holds it out for you to read.
Ilva looks at it. It would be rude to ignore her.
Yeah. It says, yesterday was my birthday.
So you're 15 today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What didn't you say?
Didn't think there was much to celebrate.
How so?
Because of all of this. When when you leave me with my betrothed tomorrow, can I have something to remember all of you by?
Of course.
She gives you a she gives you a hug and weeps on your shoulder.
And Ilva sings a lullaby. Like a mother would,
Yeah.
to calm.
Yeah.
I ponder how good it actually sounds. Give me a second.
Do the roll.
Do the roll, yes.
Second. I can't find it. There it is.
Hey.
Okay.
Nice. Yep, you're singing her a nice lullaby, a Southlander one, I assume.
Yes.
Yes. She does relax after a while, and eventually she goes to bed. Needs to get some rest.
Gilfie would recognize it. It's the one she sang for him too, when he was really upset.
It's probably quite a common one, I imagine, in the Southlands.
Yep.
So, she goes to get some rest. What do the rest of you do?
Ilva stays near her carts if she is suddenly needed.
Yes.
Sindri would like to discuss with the others what the actual plan is regarding what we do. Obviously, this is something I think Archeng will need to be there for. Because
Yeah, he comes over.
basically, Sindri wants to know what our duties are going to be.
Also, Thodi will have informed the rest of the party that surprises will be happening. It's probably going to be peaceful, but
The bones are never an exact science.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do we do to be prepared for that?
Well, we don't present ourselves in a way that's intimidating or looking for conflict for a start. We don't want to appear as aggressors.
No, I mean, if we're preparing for what our roles are, it would be nice to know what to do if something unexpected happened.
Well, Cheng looks at you all and says, unless...
I hope is not what he says.
No, unless violence breaks out, I think all you can really do is, be there and the soldiers that are from Lanwan, they know more of, they know the language fluently, and then they will deal with the, declaration of, here we are, and we are hereby presenting the future bride of whoever it is, and so on. And then
Yeah.
her new betrothed will, probably take her hands and they will go off. And leave together.
Sounds easy enough.
Suddenly clear to me how everyone thinks the nobles' lives are so much better than anyone else's.
It's all by degrees.
And they're only seeing the glitter from the outside.
How do you mean?
It doesn't matter.
No, don't go being all philosophical and then pulling back.
I mean, if it's about Leeling, I think it does matter.
Well, she told me in confidence, so I don't know if I should tell you.
Well, that makes sense. She doesn't look happy.
She really does.
Ulva shakes her head.
This is worrying.
She is.
She's a dutiful girl.
Yeah, she is.
It looks
Lots of
like
family.
more than just being afraid of what this new person is going to be like.
Well, looking at her, I realize I really dodged a bullet by going against my parents' wishes.
Don't say that. I'm sure you could have found someone you could be happy with.
But then would I really have been happy with it?
Well, that's difficult to say, but
You might have
seeing
been-
as how you interacted with Leeling, I'm certain you would be good with any daughter you might have had.
Probably true.
We are we are a sorry lot, aren't we? Shang says, and gets up and goes over to take his the cask of rice wine. There's about a fifth left of it, after the whole journey.
Yeah.
Sits down with it and says, I don't think there needs to be anything left in this tomorrow.
About that, what did you ask to come on this trip? Seemed kinda out of the blue.
Not much for me in Lanwan.
You seem
Serious?
pretty popular.
Yes, I know. I was. Popularity isn't everything.
No, I suppose
This is
not.
true. Seeking glory somewhere else.
Are you seeking glory?
No, I think glory is probably the very last thing I'm looking for.
Love then?
Aren't we
A
all?
family?
Aren't we all looking for love in one form or another?
I suppose that's true.
Hmm.
I think what I'm looking for is... No, I don't even know.
A purpose, perhaps.
Hope, I think, maybe.
I realize I've never asked you this, Cheng.
Yes.
What are your ambitions?
I don't think I have any. Not really.
How come?
Because
You're an
being-
able, strong young man.
Being ambitious means that you need to want to rise above where you are. And
It means to fight for something, have a goal in mind. It can be something as small as anything.
I have a goal of sorts. Do have goal.
I don't think my ambition will be surprising for any on my own ship, but I want to be a huntress someday.
A huntress?
Yeah,
They
that's not
are-
surprising.
They are the chosen few from our sword. They get a black cape, and then they go on bigger missions, so to say.
That's high ambition. That's
And they work closer to the sword.
Who is Ilva really wants to get close to?
I think
Yes, that's basically her ambition, is just to be in a position where she can make goo goo eyes at Gungaryl.
Ilva socks him,
my
and she
state-
looks angry.
my statement remains extant.
Well,
Don't bloody joke with that.
I want to find my place in life. He says, I want to find out who I am and make myself a place in this world.
And you know you're not going to find that in Lanwan then.
Indeed.
Well,
I could
honestly
never-
speaking, Lanwan is a very pretty city. It's a very small and remote place.
Yes.
What you learn is what comes into it, and okay, we landed there, but that's very, very atypical from that place.
I need to get to the Imperial capital. I need to get to a place that's big enough that I can vanish, and it's far enough away from Lanwan that travelers from there are unlikely to just, drop by. Kepa is too close.
Vanish?
Yes, just be one amongst thousands and thousands.
I mean, if you want to learn how to vanish, you could always try and join the mist.
Oh, I'm too old for that by now. They start training, I think, if the stories are true, they start training their members so that when they're old enough to walk.
Ah,
Well, if you want to find yourself, why not travel the world?
I don't have the money, I don't have the means, I don't have the skills. No, that's not what I can do.
I mean, I've heard the Imperial is enormous. Start there.
True. I could travel the Empire. I could. I might do that. That's not a bad idea.
I mean, you've already got some experience.
True. I'd still need to... I'd need to have some money, so I need to go to the capital first anyway to, make some money. I'd need to have some kind of skill that I could actually sort of market wherever I go so that I can keep myself fed and clothed and, get a fresh horse once in a while when the old one is worn out.
Well, if you need a little money to get going, don't hesitate to ask.
He looks grateful but shakes his head and says, that is incredibly generous of you, but if I do this, I must do it on my own. I have to make this work myself.
So, growing up on your own terms, kinda.
No, getting away on my own terms. Escaping on my own terms.
What are you running away from?
Being free on my own damn terms.
Say, Sindri looks like she finally caught onto something that she's
Sindri?
not sure No, Ilva looks like she finally caught on to something she is not sure about. Is she wanting to leave Long One connected with Leland getting married?
Yes.
That makes sense.
That might also explain why she has become so despondent.
Oh, crikey. Elva rubs her face.
Yeah. There's nothing we can really say to that, I don't think.
That is a bit of a pickle.
Yes, it is.
Glitz and glitter and all that. All what regular people see.
I mean, I suppose you could follow her and be the inspiration of the tale of the lady and the whatever you end up being. But then you have to be really good at hiding.
Probably, yes. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Well, tomorrow would be the day of surprises.
That's
Yes.
true. I wonder what they will be.
Well, the bones have given you free rein to do surprising things.
I suppose they have. Well, he gets up and says, "I'm gonna get some rest. It's gonna be a long day tomorrow."
It will.
Good idea.
Yes.
I shall take the first shift.
As Arching is going away, Ilva sighs deeply.
I'm guessing that's why she's sullen.
I am looking at this from the outside and I don't understand it.
Why not?
It's again the shit about nobles having to marry other nobles, isn't it?
Yes, I suppose it's a bit like having taken a vow.
There's a big difference there. Because they're born into it, they don't actually get to choose. So they couldn't take a vow for it.
I suppose not, but the rules are kind of the same. You can act in accordance with the vow you've been given, and things will be alright, or you cannot, and things will not be alright.
Yeah, then the other nobles will be pissy and war will break out and enemies will be had and all that shit.
I wonder how our captain felt about the marriage.
Again, it was a duty, right?
You know,
It didn't matter what he felt.
doesn't stop me from wondering.
Nah. Either he dodged a bullet or he's really sad now.
I think even if he dodged a bullet, it was not in the way he would have liked.
True. Oh well. You know, Gilfie, you and Arching seems really similar in some ways. Not that you pine after people you can't have, but you both get this defeatist attitude when something doesn't go your way.
You don't know if he does.
Which one of them?
Maybe we do.
The pine after people he can't have.
That part I don't know, but he doesn't seem to have a problem with the people he actually wants to have. I mean,
That's true.
I don't want to have anybody. Thank you very much.
see?
It's a figure of speech, Gilfie. I don't think Ilva means like a thrall.
Exchange.
I don't think Ilva meant like a thrall.
No. more in general terms, the more stuff that doesn't go your way, the sadder you seems. The same thing with Archie.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't have her, so now he's depressed and means to do nothing about it.
What can he do exactly? Get them both killed?
I'm not saying he should defy everything, I'm saying he should get over it. Sure it'll hurt. Sure he can't have her. But what does it help banishing? The problems won't go away by doing that.
You know, oh my god, I want to say something, but I don't know how to say it without, Ilva,
I want you to say it directly instead of trying to cover it up.
some people just cannot give themselves to a cause like that. It's like, for him, I think, for him, Aileen is
Oh.
it's like your duty is for you. He cannot just give it up.
I'm not sure I'm seeing the connection.
Well, if he can't give it up, then he should fight for it and see what comes out of it.
Exactly.
That's really his only two choices.
I'm only saying that if you don't fight for what you want, don't cry over what you've lost. He could have talked with their parents, could have talked with her family, way before this happened. And I'm guessing he either did and got a no, or he didn't, because why should he try? Because nothing would ever change anyway.
And what do you think his family could offer the noble family of Outland One?
As far as I've understood, the only reason she's finally found someone is because someone was finally okay with her being mute. And if they said no, then you have to move on from that.
He could offer her family that she would stay close. They might have enjoyed that.
And as we've seen in Kippa, the fact that one of them is a commoner is not always a bad thing. I mean, they wanted that shitty, weird, fucked lady to actually marry the young lord, and then everyone got their underwear in a twist when he dumped her. I'm just saying that that's what it looks like from the outside. Of course, she turned out to be a horrible monster who wants to eat hearts and livers and spleens from people, but still, the idea wasn't all that hated in the city. And Lanwan is smaller. But yeah.
I think the matter is here that he doesn't want to. Like, I don't think he cares what happens to him when he fights for Liling, but I think the problem is here that he wants to keep her safe, and there is no. I don't think there is a way out of this to keep her safe, and still keep the relationship. That's the sad part about it. It's not the unwillingness to fight. It's the, you can die, like you can, like, if you know the battle is lost, it's like,
well, yes, that's why it's called taking a risk.
You can die on the battlefield, I suppose, but I don't know. There is no honor in death.
Ha! That's a weird statement.
And throwing away your life. And throwing away life of somebody else, somebody you love.
As far as I
Maybe-
understand
maybe-
from Ilva, they both want it.
Yeah, the
Yes.
only problem is now that they've gone so far and they have accepted the young nobleman's wedding thingy. What's it called over here? Betrothal?
Proposal.
And if she runs away now, Lanwan will have a new enemy.
Well, I mean, the choice has always been between being selfish and happy or selfless and unhappy.
Yeah. That was just the wrong time to do something about it. They could have done it before. Before she was about to get married, all that stuff. I don't know. I feel sad for the girl. Not getting to choose her own future like that.
You rarely do. Any of us.
That's true.
I chose to say no to my parents and become a battle maiden. Of course they disowned me and left me behind, but...
True enough, but then that's your circumstances. Look at Gilfy.
Yeah,
Look at
they're-
Gilfy.
No, please don't look at me.
That's the point. I mean, any situation like this where we're confronted with a situation that Southlanders like Ilva or me or even Frothy would, although it's hardship, we thrive in it. You, for lack of a better term, Gilfy, you mope. And it's clear that Southland, the ways of our culture do not suit you well. If you had a choice, then you would find. Then if our society offered a choice, you wouldn't have to face that kind of oppression, for lack of a better word, lack of choice. But that's not the way that we work. And so I know that you have to confront the fact that you one day might have to return to a society that you feel you will not be able to fit into for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's the thing about our Southlanders. Southlanders technically once. If I ever decide that I don't want to come back, I don't have to. My home was burned. My home was burned to the ground. I technically don't have anything to return to. The world is my home right now.
None of us actually have. Our home is the ship at the moment.
True, but don't any of the rest of you entertain the notion that one day you might return to the Southlands and found a new home there in Vananes or one of the other outlying
Wait,
settlements or somewhere?
Why limit
That is my
yourself?
goal in life.
You saying, Gilfy?
Why limit yourself to the Southlands? Why not live where you want to live, not where you have to live?
That's dodging the question.
No.
Also, the Southland is where I want to live.
That's the point. You
That's-
want to live
that's
there.
the- That's
You-
fair, but like,
And that's
I
my
don't
point.
know where I want to live.
That's the point. You know where you want to go. I know where I want to go. Ilva knows where she wants to be. And even Bargy, far away as he is from us now, has some idea of where he wants to be. But you, Gilfy, you don't know. You look at the idea of living here or well, not here, but Lanwan or some other place we visit on our voyage, and that seems okay. That seems right to you, and that's the point. Is that
I just accept that and any place with good people is good place to live.
but you say that, but my point still stands. There are good people in the Southlands, but I think you will. I get the impression that you would be less happy there than you would in Lanwan, for example.
I
So
suppose Gilfy has a bit of the same choice. He can be selfish and get off the boat whenever he wants, or he can be selfless and stick with us and patch us together.
yes,
I said, like I said, I'm sticking with this journey until this journey ends, and if it ends, well, it depends when it ends. I don't know when it ends, but it will end for me. And
Well-
it can end in Southland, then then I will go from there and decide what I want to do. Or it can end anywhere, really.
Yes. But there you are.
You're taking me for a person who plans so far ahead.
No, I quite the contrary. I'm explicitly comparing you as the opposites to that in us. We're the ones that have planned ahead. You've made it clear you don't.
Oh, I don't plan ahead. I want to become a huntress, but I'm pretty obviously and painfully aware that I might not make it that far.
Well, that's true. I suppose becoming a huntress isn't really a plan more than it is a goal. But
It is a goal, and I might end up not actually making the cut. Or I might get up getting cut and, die before I ever get there.
yeah. Sorry, Sindri went through his teenage phase for a minute there.
Lol.
That is the risk you'll have to take to get to your goal.
And I'm willing to take it.
Exactly. Taking no risks just leaves you unhappy.
As I said, if you don't fight for what you want, there's no reason to cry for what you've lost.
I mean, that's... I would agree, but I am fully aware of human nature, and human nature dictates that those who are powerless or choiceless often have plenty of cause to weep.
Of course. But when we had Hyobor, we fought to survive every year to bring in the harvest, and we fought to live. If we didn't, then why would we have the right to be sad when it went away? We fought for a living, we fought to survive, and now we're here. If we did nothing, we would be sitting in the burning stumps of the city, doing nothing.
This is true.
If we didn't rebuild and didn't fight to get anywhere new, then do we really... Wouldn't it be stupid to cry for what you've lost if you don't really fight to get anywhere at all? In my case, I have to look at it that way. Otherwise, I fought for nothing. I fought to become a battle maiden despite my parents not wanting to.
The question is this: do you feel that that's the case for Liling and Arsheng at the moment, that they haven't fought for the cause they believe in?
I think in this country duty is placed really high. It was her duty to marry a noble man, and she had a handicap, she couldn't speak, which is also very, very, very wanted in a young girl here. And Archeng was not a noble. In a sense, everything was against them.
Still, in my opinion, it is her choice whether she fulfills her duty or run away, even if that means she is going to die in the woods. It was still her choice.
Exactly.
Yes.
I mean, of course, certain death is a choice, regardless of its pessimism and finality.
And I asked her, and she chose Dodie.
Then she has made her choice.
Yes.
Archeng should too.
It seems like when the goal he at first had, if it really was to be with Liling, vanished, then he should have found a new one. I think he's still looking for it.
Indeed.
Well, that's...
And I hope he does
something.
find one. Just because one goal misses doesn't mean the rest has to miss too. The same with Liling.
I'm sure.
Well, I think I'll go stand watch.
Yeah.
Come poke me when it's my turn.
Will do.
Alright, so you get some rest.
I believe that is the intention, yes.
Alright. Following day, you wake up and it's time to get going. Pretty shortly. Everybody gets a few bites to eat, with the exception of Li Ling, who's so nervous she can't keep anything down, up to and including water.
Aww.
I don't know. Gilfie would at this point be like, do you, I have a relaxing medicine. Do you want?
Yes, she would actually like that. Something to just take the worst of the nerves.
He's like about like how. He would like for a second think about it. Okay, how strong are we talking here? Do we just want to a relaxing instance, or knock me out tea?
Relaxing instance is probably the
Okay.
better choice, because she does need to meet someone very shortly. So
Yeah, looking stoned on your first day is not really a good first impression, to be honest, man.
Yeah. So Gilfie will probably light up the incense and probably like time it out. He used enough time to so far to time it out when it's like okay that.
Yeah.
Then after a while he would just strike it out. Yeah, that should be fine for now.
So you do that, and the small caravan gets moving again after some relaxing incense and, as I said, a bit of breakfast for people. And around just before noon, you reach your destination at last. You are finally up to the you are up to the what's it called, the village where you were meant to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it is actually quite large. It's not a village by anyone's standards, except in the Empire, and it's probably only a village because it's so close to the the capital, and therefore seems smaller. By it's actually slightly larger than Lanwan.
I think Ilva stops and stares. This is a village.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
And
You people, everything is just bigger here, isn't it?
And as you guys approach, the settled areas, there are a lot of people, and they all notice you guys, Southlanders, and there's a huge amount of commotion very, very quickly, because you're very close to the capital and you are really outlandish. So there are soldiers come out to meet you, and the soldiers that you have brought along from Lanwan are quite confused by this, and they step forward to explain what's going on, and there's a long and quite complicated conversation that goes on. It's happening very quickly, and it goes over the heads of you guys. Your control of the language is nowhere near to the point where you can understand what is being said here. But
I thought I was pretty good at this, but they're talking so fast I only hear yip 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 yip.
Yes. And they one of the soldiers comes back after a moment, and he looks devastated at what he's about to tell you, and he says that they want you to bind your weapons before they're going to let you get into town. They wanted to take your weapons away. I said that there was that couldn't happen, and that you're traveling as official representatives of Lord Bao, but they won't let you into, they won't let you in there if you don't bind your weapons.
Oh well, Lanwan was not that much different when we ended up there.
No, but on the other hand, I know you can be trusted. He says, I don't like doing this.
No, but they don't know they can trust us.
It's
Where are the
fine.
binds?
Well, he
It-
he takes out the some red silk.
Do they
bands
want to
and-
do it so they know they're
Yeah,
fastened?
he does it, so and he makes sure that it's nice and tight, and That way, at least, it's someone you know who handles the weapons, not some complete stranger.
Yep.
And he again, he looks at you apologetically and says, "Well, we can go into town now. But I don't think it's going to be all that easy for you guys, because," he says, they really think you're frightened.
That's nothing new.
Understandable.
You
Mm.
get to a building which is very clearly the inn where you're supposed to go, and there are more soldiers there waiting outside, and they are very heavily armed. And their quality of equipment is miles beyond what the men you brought from Lanwan are carrying and wearing. It's a world apart. They look like, quite frankly, they look, your friends look like highway robbers and bandits by comparison. These guys practically gleam. Their armor is lacquered, everything gleams and glistens, their weapons shine in the sun. They are of a completely different caliber.
Ilva can't help but fangirl a little. Ooh, that's pretty.
They, of course, these soldiers again. They look at you, but they after another long explanation, you are allowed into the inn, but you are told to stay on the right side of the room. So
Right.
you can't just suddenly rip your weapons from their bindings and attack whoever it is that's in there.
Ilva looks a little confused. Why the right side?
Because the man we're about to meet is on the left side.
Mm.
Then she looks at her hands. What is right?
That one.
Okay.
And your friends tell you, but don't worry, we'll help you find a good place to stand where you can see everything. And they look mortified by the whole thing, and they start to look nervous because they clearly think there's something very strange going on. These soldiers are not what they expected. The other soldiers are not what they expected. That's very, very obvious.
No,
I think-
but it was supposed to be a day full of surprises.
Yes, absolutely.
Thrody makes sure to keep his hands far away from his weapons, like, folded over his chest
Yes,
or something.
yes, that's a pretty good thing. Also, it makes you look large and imposing.
Obviously.
And you enter, I guess. I take it.
Yes.
Yes. And you enter the room, and it's actually mostly empty. Again, there are some soldiers in there. Actually, quite a few of them. They line the walls. You are, led over to the right side of the room by your friends who again look at you with the confusion and apology, and they don't like the situation. That's obvious. And then they go back outside and they bring Liling inside, because clearly she's she's one of the lead people in what is about to happen.
He is actually the main person.
Yes. Well, one of the two anyway.
Yep.
And you can see Cheng is actually trying to get in as well, but gets pushed back and literally shoved away by one of the soldiers standing guard at the door.
Hey.
And do you say something?
Well, she will note that he is with them, and he is as much her protection as they are.
The soldier looks at you with some confusion that you're able to speak to him at all in his language, and that seems to confuse him enough that he goes, "He can stand with you then."
Of course.
And Cheng is led in, and
Yeah, Gilfy would let like take a Chang and like stand next to him.
Yeah, he's just like, thank you. That
Of
I owe
course.
you. And he stands there and he looks
Hmm.
again looks like somebody is ripping his heart out of his chest with a rusty knife. As the what are they called? As again, the Liling is shown to a seat by one of these low tables that they always use. It's stacked high with extremely colorful silken pillows. It's beautiful. I mean, they've really arranged the room in a way that makes it look luxurious and comfortable and lovely in every sense of the word. And then down the stairs from upstairs, after you've waited a little while, somebody goes upstairs, one of the soldiers goes upstairs. A little while later he comes back down, and then a few moments later a young man, or a boy really, he's probably around 16 you would guess from the looks of him, comes down the stairs. He's dressed extremely well. His clothes are of, you can tell even from this distance, it's the finest cloth, and it fits him perfectly, and he's very, very, he carries himself like someone of incredible importance. And when he comes down, there is the first thing that happens is that every soldier standing around the walls immediately, they snap to attention, as it's instantaneous, and it's in at the exact same moment, which it's drilled, which is not something Southlanders are exactly known to do. So this is kind of impressive in its own way. It's the whole military drill thing is kind of something else. And he and then they look down. They don't look directly at whoever this person is. And you can hear, even where you are, and you can see from across the room, Liling gasps and puts a hand up to her mouth, as if, in complete stunned surprise. And she, and then she too, bows her head deeply. And
Guys, what's going on?
It takes a moment before it seemingly sinks in with Cheng what's going on. Your soldiers, the guys who are coming along there, it takes a little less time for them to understand what's going on. But if they looked or not afraid, but if they looked apologetic and concerned before, now they look like they're staring into the mouth of a very hungry lion. Or in your case, a very hungry ice reaver. There is pure dread on their faces. And all of them go down on their knees immediately, stretch their arms up over their heads, and lean forwards until their foreheads touch the floor, and their arms are outstretched in front of them, basically.
They're kowtowing, basically.
They're kowtowing.
Yeah, Therodi is looking mightily confused by now.
Ilva is also looking mightily confused, like pondering if they all suddenly got sick for some reason, or what the fuck's going on face.
The young man looks around the room. His gaze finally settles on you guys, because you are not behaving like all the others.
No,
And
there's pure confusion on our faces.
And he does raise an eyebrow. And he looks at you and turns to face you. There's a moment of confusion on his face, as if he's not quite sure what to make of this really strange situation. And he's certainly not sure what to make of you, because clearly he's never seen anything like you before. But he doesn't seem... He's not frightened or anything of the sort. And then he says, in his voice is clear, he's well articulated, but he does have a slightly archaic twang to his voice. He speaks in a very formal kind of way. I'm not going to do that, but I'm sure you can imagine.
Yeah.
Yes, I can
It's the difference between the slang English and the Queen's English.
Really, definitely, yes. And he looks at you and says, "Where are you from? I have never seen the likes of you, nor have I ever heard of you."
We are from the Southlands, my lord.
Southlands. I suppose that would make you the southern giants out of legend.
Ilvanuts.
Fascinating. I believe you may be the first to come this close to the capital. Perhaps even the first to ever set foot in the Empire.
I apologize if we were supposed to do the same thing as the others in the room. I got confused. I've never seen it before.
I am not. I can hardly expect that from people who do not know our customs. Frankly, simply seeing you here is interesting, to say the least. Hardly what I expected when I arrived to meet my future wife. And again, there's a short little gasp from Li-Ling at this, and he looks again to each of you and says, "May I inquire what you are called? I assume that southern giants have names as well."
I am Ilva. And then she looks at the others. They can speak themselves.
I am Sindri, my lord.
Sindri.
I am Frodi Eilafsson.
Frodi. Yes. And he looks to Gylfi last.
Gylfi just bows slightly. Gylfi, my lord.
Gylfi. And then he looks to Cheng last of all, and at the moment his eyes settle on him, he goes down on his knees and bows his head. He doesn't kowtow, but he does go down on his knees and bows his head immediately, and the young man actually chuckles slightly at this. Oh, you almost get tired of this reaction after a while. Very well. I am... I suppose, seeing as you are not from here, you could not know this. I am Aichi, second son of His Most Glorious Majesty, the Lotus Emperor.
That explains the reaction.
It is an honor.
Indeed.
Without sounding too self-important, he says with a very wry smile, "Yes, it is."
I think at this point Thordy also attempts, a deep bow, but
Yes.
emphasis on attempts.
I must say, though, he says, as I said, I had not expected that Li-Ling would be escorted here by such foreign people. But I do have to say, I must express my personal gratitude towards you for having brought her here safely.
Yes, that is, if I might say so, my lord, that is why we were chosen. For though we may appear strange and even dangerous, our capacity to keep Li-Ling safe was never in question.
I believe I should like to hear this tale. Have you eaten yet today?
We did have breakfast.
Well, that has undoubtedly been a little while. Let us, he says and looks around, let us have food and drink brought in, and you can tell me about your journey here. I should like to hear it. It is no doubt unique.
Of course.
I am certain that we will be left alone by the world beyond these doors, he says, and then looks to the soldiers who've genuflected basically on the ground and says, as for you, he says, you may stand up. You have done your lady good service in bringing her here safely, along with these good people from the south.
I'm guessing he's talking to Arching.
No, he's talking to the soldiers first and foremost.
Ah,
Yes.
yeah.
And then he looks to Arching and says, who, pray tell, is this?
Ilva waits to see if he wants to talk himself.
No, he's asking you. He's asking you, your group, the Southlanders.
This young man is known as Cheng, Your Highness. He has been useful to us in interpreting and speaking on our behalf where our grasp of your language has faltered.
Ah, he's been your interpreter, I see. Well,
Yes.
I must say that your understanding of our language is impressive. I don't know how long you have been here, obviously, but you do speak our language. A bit crudely, if I may say so, but understandable. Which is more than can be said for many who come from the outside. I understand that our language is difficult to learn.
Very different from our own, yes.
I suppose I should like to hear something said in your language. Perhaps if you know a poem you could recite or something similar while we dine.
Ah,
I know quite a lot of songs, but
That should be
not really poems.
that should be fine. I should like to hear. Please join me, he says, and some people are carrying in more tables and food is being brought in and so on, and he takes a seat and there's room for you as well, and
well, it would be rude not to.
yes, and he does gesture for Acheng to come over and sit by the table as well, seeing as he's your interpreter. It might be a word or two you don't understand after all.
Ilva is so happy that she actually paid attention to regular table manners.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was thinking, if we'd known, if certainly Sindri's case, if we'd known that we were going to be meeting a prince, I would have changed. Sindri would have changed into his formal wear.
Yes.
But as it is, we haven't really got time for that now.
He does
No.
ask. He does ask if he can be allowed to see some of your equipment. Not, he doesn't ask for you to give it to him, but he would like to see it since it's so very different from what his own troops are using.
Well, Ilva will accept him to see her weapons, but he will have to have one of his own soldiers untie it and
Yes.
take it,
And
because
they do so.
he will not be.
No.
Doesn't want to draw it herself.
No, that's fine that they do so. They bring him your warhammer, and he looks at it with considerable interest, and then he looks back to Ilva and says, the very idea of a woman as a warrior is very strange to me, but if that is how your culture functions, then I must say that your weapons are truly impressive, and I can see how Li Ling's father has made a wise choice in making you part of her escort. You would be, no doubt, a powerful deterrent. You would be able to scare many foes away before they have even attacked.
Ilva nods.
Mm.
I am what you would call, at least in my own tongue, a battle maiden.
A maiden. Oh, I see. So you take no husband.
We take no husband. We take up a weapon.
I see. That is a dedicated life, and no doubt a very honourable one. He says and nods. Basically, the he has polite and pleasant conversation with you throughout the meal, and asks a lot of interested and genuine and earnest questions about your journey, and some about you and your culture, and so on and so forth. And
He shall get to know as much as he wants. I also think, Thordy will slip in, that of course it's all Arching's doing that we can speak as fluently as we can. Helping the boy along a little.
Yes.
And Ilva will also answer whatever he asks and tell the tales and sing a few songs. And she will be keeping a, discreet eye with Leeling, see if she, loosens up as time goes and starts feeling a little more comfortable.
Yes. Well, Leeling does feel clearly she becomes less frightened, but she's still completely and utterly dumbstruck. She had been told that she would be coming here to meet the son of a lesser nobleman from halfway across the empire. This is not what she had expected at all.
Day full of surprises.
The bones did not lie.
Ren had explained that was what would happen, and seeing as Ren was not able to join you on the last leg of the journey from Kepa, then and
Yes.
But
Poor girl.
Yes.
Not only nervous, now also dumbstruck, and everything is just weird and surprising.
Weird and surprising, and I mean, she does look impressed with this whole thing, and also confused. And at one point, if she can see one of your, she tries to catch one of your eyes, or the gaze of one of you guys, and she has this questioning look on her face as she gestures towards her throat, as if why me? I can't talk.
Well, since Ilva has been, keeping an, I know this sounds weird, motherly eye on her,
Yes.
you will note this, and then tip her head slightly, as if considering how to ask the nobleman of this. And then she looks at the man and says calmly, at least trying to be polite,
Yeah.
with all your respect, being the second son of the Emperor, Leeling is wondering why her.
He looks at her, and there's actual warmth on his face, real, affection. He wants her to be comfortable. That's clear. And he says, well, she came very highly recommended, very highly indeed. When the emissary of the sword says that he has found the perfect potential wife, I tend to listen.
Ren, a very nice man.
Yes, I would agree that he is a nice man, to use your expression. He is also a very dutiful one.
Ilva nods.
And yes.
He was also of great help, assisting your future wife in getting here.
I shall make certain that he is rewarded for this, as are you all, obviously. Says that goes without saying. Now the question, of course, is how do I adequately reward people such as yourselves? clearly your weapons and equipment are already of highly, highly outstanding quality. I just had a chance to see for myself.
Might I,
No, please.
sorry, out of character, might I suggest that we discuss this with the good prince after we've had our second break?
Yes, that's actually a good idea. Let's take a second break here, and then we will be back with the culmination of this conversation afterwards.
Yes,
So,
please, I need to pee.
no problem. We will take a break here and be right back with the final episode. No, not final episode, not yet. Final part of this week's episode of The Long Voyage.
Don't scare the viewers.